All right, Han and Chris, you guys are coming over for Salon Forum for CPR in just a few weeks, actually, which is quite crazy.
Crazy.
But before you come, I want us to have a little chat about who you are and what you're bringing. Now, it's obviously Christmas, as we can see in the background there. So, Merry Christmas. Let's start off with you both. What do you do? How do you do it? Obviously, I have seen you in the States on stages, at awards in back in Oz. But for those who don't know you, give us a little insight.
I'm got a background, third generation hairdresser, and about 30 plus years in the business. Have worked for some of the top companies in the industry globally, and really now is been doing a lot of independent education and focusing on our company CBC, which is Christopher Benson Collective. And with that, it's a production company that we produce education, we produce shows like what you've seen, help brands do that as well. And then Hannah is on a lot on the production side. She's a hairdresser by trade as well.
So, hairdresser by trade, but I got into hair because I loved kind of every aspect of the beauty industry. And so, for me, I was already doing some photography work, went to hair school, love it, love the industry, work behind the chair. But I really wanted to kind of expand that. So, when Chris started CBC, entered it more on the production side of it, helping with the video production and photos. And over the past few years, though, I've gotten a lot more back into the hair education. So, it's a really good balance for us. I loved working in the production arena. Took some time and did some corporate work, so I got to learn a lot about the other side of the
Mhm.
industry, and I think that brings a lot to the plate as far as what we can bring from a beauty perspective.
Now, you guys do obviously education. You travel around the world on a regular basis. You also have a magazine. So there is a fair dynamic behind what you guys are bringing to the table. It's not coming from ignorance, it's coming from a tremendous run of
Probably
experience.
coming from a lot of failures and then experience, Jared. I mean, in all honesty, and I don't think a lot of people talk about that. I think the dynamic that we have, and this is what I think the excitement is about what we're going to share, is finding your person, and that doesn't mean it has to be a relationship, but finding people around you,
Yeah.
who your inner circle is, I think is super important because you can drive so much faster than you can individually.
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't mean you don't always go at your individual goals, but what I find is when you have a team of hot players that everybody knows their lane, you can accomplish so much more together than individually, and everybody's still accomplishing their individual goals along the way.
Yeah.
So for us, the dynamic is the synergy between what we do, the complement of each other, and being able to do it together. But I also think it's the story behind it of how, I've never been in a photography class, yet I'm an award-winning photographer, right? So how did that happen? How that happened for me was she cut down a lot of time. I had an immense amount of trust of her being able to set me up to put me in front of a camera. So we like to call it lights, camera, action. But and now she has that same thing. So I think the idea of when she stood on stages with me as a model in the beginning and then absorbed, and then when it was time for her to take the stage, I think as somebody that is a mentor, as a protector, you go, okay, I got you. Like we're here. Watching her that first few times and watching her just take off, that's the time as a mentor you take a step back and watch them fly. There's nothing better than that than when you watch people succeed. And I think the greatest thing for me where I'm at in my career is I still have goals and I still want to accomplish things, but I think it's how do you teach other people to find a pathway that can cut down time for them, the time, the energy, the money, the expense, all of those things. What we've hopefully done is evolved, right? If Hannah can cut down time in her experience, then hopefully what we've done is an industry evolved. And that's really what we want to do is share that in just a really open conversation of some of the things that have really, really worked for us and what we've come to know, and also some of the things that we've had that didn't work out in past that has got us to this point of things working out. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's saying no to things. Sometimes it's not always yes to everything.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people hear all those different things listed off, right? The magazine, education, all these different things, and in people's heads it goes together. But I think for us, what we look at ourselves as creative solutionists, and anything that we've brought to the table, the magazine, education, hair shows, brand education, whatever it is about solving a challenge or making something better. So for us, the magazine, we saw his work get published over and over and over, with headers over the hair, or they're renaming your collection, or they've got 16 images on a page, or they stopped printing. And so for us, that creating the magazine, like while it's something he's always wanted to do, was a solution to a challenge of like artists are spending all of this money to shoot collections, and there's no good medium to put it out there physically.
Yeah.
And so same with education. Like when we see a hole in education, that's where we're like, we need to develop, a new stage show or a new class or a new online course that's going to fill that hole, because we know we could do it, not because there's not amazing stuff out there, but we have a niche that we can fill in some of those gaps.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where all of those things really start to connect together, and it doesn't seem so wide.
Yeah.
I think for us, it's about creating space for people. That's why we do what we do. I think, whether it's education or producing shows, because it's never just us on stage. It's, who else do you bring with you to experience that and charge the next generation up to take the stage and do it better than what we did is the goal.
Yeah.
And magazine, it's the same thing. For us, it's a creative outlet for artists to celebrate their work. And we publish it, from artists all over the world. And strange enough, we have an immense amount of Australians that are in this magazine over and over and over. But we love the Australians and we love the work they do. So we're excited. We're excited to come down and share.
When it comes specifically to Forum, what are you guys going to be bringing through your session?
Unleashed ambition. Through all of that, through the magazine, through the education, through the different experiences that we've had, that shared experience, we don't want to gatekeep. So for us, that's a hole we see in the industry is people come to us all the time in any of those avenues. How do I do that? How do I do what you do in this aspect? How do I do what you do? And we try to break it down into a very simple structure on how to get whatever you're looking to do. And kind of that, we break it down into 4 words. We share our experiences very vulnerably, because that's the only way. We've gone through so much to get to where we are that those experiences should only help people. And so through that, we've developed our own system of how to get what we want, how to start the magazine, how to jump into the education. And so for us, it was about bringing that practicality to CPR, to the forum.
Yeah, I think it's really understanding what your goals are, understanding where you want to put your time, where you want to put your energy, why you're putting it there, and what the trade-off is. And is it knowledge? Is it peace? Is it profit? Because I think all those things come into play, none of which are wrong. I think it's deciding how much do you want to invest of those things, time, money, effort, energy, and what do you expect out of that? And if it's always just hoping, then that's all it's going to end up is hoping. And if you don't set goals with end results in mind of what those are, and also put time onto those. So we talk about what we call SMART goals, which is we break that down in how to set specific goals, make them attainable, make them time measurable, things like this, so that there is something that's structured to it that isn't just ethereal. Because yes, we want to inspire people. Of course, we want to motivate people and share our story with them. But I want them to walk out there and go, I'm on fire with what I want to do for me in my life. Because the other thing for me is each one of us are unique. And this is the other thing that the hair industry for me really opened my eyes was each of us are unique. And I think in high school, it was like everybody wanted to be the same. Everybody just wanted to fit in. Everybody just wanted to get to class and get it done, right? The industry that we're in embraces that uniqueness. And I think that it's allowing leaders to share that it is great to be unique. It is great for you to, have challenges. That's how you're going to learn. There is no elevator to the top. It is absolutely a staircase. And, there's a way to do it. But I think that you got to put the grind in, you got to put the work in, you got to put the effort in. And how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Because you can go out, you're proving of it. I'm proving of it. Hannah's proving of it. And we share, I think different things of our upbringing that I think also people identify with, that then they go, wow, that's things I could have hung my hat on in a negative way, right? Because I think when you talk to somebody long enough, Jared, everybody's had things as they came up in life that were challenges. And those are things we could sit on and go, oh, poor me, and live your life like that. Or you can do something about it and change that chain of events and chain for what else is following you. And so for me, that's really, doing self-work. We're very much about, self-care and well-being. And I think that needs to be talked about in our industry just as much as I think business, education, what we do on social. I think all those things are important, but I think so is self-care and so is our well-being, because that's what's going to maintain longevity for all of us.
I mean, we're very excited to have you guys down in Oz, in Tassie, in the wilderness almost.
That's what I keep hearing, Jared.
The wilderness,
Jared. We live in the wilderness, so we're excited about that. But I was just, I was literally talking to Tabitha. Yeah, I was literally talking to Tabitha about it the other day, and she's like, "No, Chris, this is out in the wilderness." Yeah. And when she says it to me, I'm like, "Okay,
soft tense,
Yeah, it's real. It's real. I'm like,
Good.
we might need a campfire or two.
Okay,
There's
we're
going
all
to be campfires, although it's going to be February, so it's going to be still warm. But no, it will be excellent. I think just in terms of the way that the guys have set it up, in terms of bringing back to the basics and kind of
Yeah.
doing that on purpose,
Yeah.
so that everyone can kind of feel stripped back and ready to go together, which I think is beautiful message in terms of what you guys are bringing to the table too. So
I think an equal playing field is an amazing starting point when everybody can come in and it's just like a blank sheet,
yeah.
so to speak, and everybody moves forward together. I think in their knowledge and their sharing and their experience.
Mhm.
What an incredible place that is created for that. So
Yeah.
we're very excited. We're very excited to come and see the stylists that surround CPR, and hopefully new ones that have want some interest into CPR.
Yeah. It'd be
And
so
of course, we're excited to see you, Jared. We're
Oh,
always
thanks, mate.
you. I was very excited when I heard. I was like, "Is Mocha covering this?" And she's like, "Do you know some of them?" And I said, "A little bit, yeah." A little bit. So yeah, I was very excited that you're covering this. It'll be great.